Regularly throughout your journey, you want to have a look at your GPS to make sure you're on track. And if you find out that you're not, you might want to adjust your GPS accordingly. So let's say a third of the time of your goal cycle has passed and you meet for a goal check-in. First, we look at positioning. So in our e-commerce example from the previous lesson, you identified two metrics you wanted to increase. Conversion rate from 2% to 2.5% and average revenue per day from 10,000 euros to 11,000 euros. So what you do in the check-in is to look at where these two metrics stand today. Did they go up or did they go down? And if so, by how much? And how does that compare to the time that you already invested into improving them? Let's say conversion rate increased from 2% to 2.1%. That is great. However, if you keep going at this rate, you won't get to your desired 2.5% by the time of the goal cycle ends. Can you explain why you haven't made the progress that you hoped for? Also, looking at the other metric of average revenue per day, it hasn't changed and is still at 10,000 euros where it was previously. Again, can you explain why? Maybe it's due to seasonality, or maybe the weather has been exceptionally good and people spent time outside instead of shopping online. You can probably imagine that you wouldn't have an obvious clear answer to any of these questions. And that is a false expectation that many people initially have when they start out to use a more data-driven approach to goal alignment. They think that the data will give them all the answers. The truth is, in most cases, it still takes a fair amount of interpretation and guessing. But with data, your guesses are better informed and probably closer to the truth than without it. Alright, that's positioning, looking at the goal. Once we know where we are, we can look at the goal. Can we still reach it? And do we still want to, considering how much time and effort it cost us to get to where we are today? Knowing what all you have done already to get your conversion rate from 2% to 2.1%, should you keep going to try to increase it even further? Or would it make sense, or more sense, to change course towards a different goal? And finally, we look at our strategy. Did it get us as much progress as we hoped for? Is this still the best strategy to reach our goal? And can we adjust it to make even faster progress? So in our example, is simplifying the checkout still the right strategy to increase conversion rate? Or is it about product placement after all? It is valuable to question your strategy and change it when it makes sense. However, also give yourself and your team the time it takes to show progress on a strategy. If you keep changing strategy too quickly, you'll never get anywhere. So for our example, let's say you stick to your current strategy because you're convinced that measures that you just started working on will pay off as soon as they are implemented and released. And that's it. These are the 3 steps to do a goal check-in. This gets everyone up to date where you stand today and lets everyone move forward with renewed clarity.